Hello, Meoni here. Welcome back to another video covering more content added in patch 7.4. This then acting as a bit of an overview about the new command panel feature. The command panel, if you didn't know, if you press P or if you actually go character and then go to actions and traits on your menu and go under the extras menu, you will find the command panel. This button, once you assign this to a bar, acts as a keybind to open the command panel. The first time you open this up, we get ourselves some helpful text, which tells us how to access the command panel, using the command panel, registering commands, and the settings. But as you can see, this is what the command panel looks like. Let's make this as big as possible, although ideally I wouldn't want it this big naturally. I'm glad that the rain has gone. That's good. Good timing. So as you can see, there are 4 pages of 25 slots of action bar space. If we press the cog, we can change the transparency of this by changing the tint. It will still have some transparency behind it. As you can see, you cannot completely get rid of it, but for the purpose of this, we're going to put it on 100 just so it's easier for you to see things. Let's come out of this for a second. So how the command panel works is anything that ordinarily you would want to place onto a bar. For example, for the longest time, I've been putting things on bars. I've been trying to hide them away with macros, be that emotes, then we can just drag and drop those on here wherever we want. Or be that something like gear sets. For example, if I wanted to put my gear sets on here to switch between them, that could be a page as well. So effectively, the idea behind this feature is to limit the amount of clutter that is on your bars. For example, as you can see, I've filled a lot of my action bars over the times with, various things like the shared fate button because it was easier to access it there, wondrous tales, food buffs, obviously the macro buttons to open even more action bars, other mounts, other things like gear sets, emotes that I use quite commonly. Things like that. So this is going to clear up the UI. So let's give you a little bit of a demonstration of what mine would look like after I've cleaned it. All right, after a considerable amount of time, I have got to a point where I'm somewhat happy with the process. So as you can see, my UI no longer has lots of arrows on it. This is a bit of a placeholder. I've keybound my command panel to B because I don't need my log specifically. But as you can see, it opens here. It is a fixed position when I open it. And I can access my mounts and stuff, my random mount, a macro for turning on and off battle effects, which is especially useful for a recording, glowing macro, teleportation and return, stuff to do with my chocobo summoning, stuff like emotes that I access, wondrous tales, the dig command for when we're doing treasure maps, the Mogpendium for future Mogpendium activities with the Moogle Tome events. On page 2, I've got more of a battle focus thing. I wouldn't recommend actually putting pots on here. I would still recommend using those on a normal keybound. It's just I put them there for example. Food buff obviously could be a good option. Phoenix Downs is something that I would recommend you putting on here. It's always very handy to have access to those, especially if you're doing deep dungeons with friends. And of course, you can get 999 of those now. Other things on this battle tab are like the strategy board that I've set up, ready checks, waymarks, signs, countdowns, the challenge log, Pilgrim's potions for my solo attempts at Pilgrim's Traverse. Then page 3, we've got a crafting and gathering focus stuff with gear sets for crafters and gatherers, as well as cordials and gathering food crafting stuff. And then on page 4 is my combat-related jobs, the gear sets, so I can easily switch between these on the fly, as you can see, and they're all set up. So my UI is a lot cleaner as a result of this. There are a lot less buttons. I'm not really very happy with where I've put my keybound, panel. This is a shared action bar that I set up, so instead of having to put the command panel on every single one of my jobs, I just had a shared hotbar and, just stuck that there and made everything else invisible. I still need to sort of even up some of the jobs because some of the abilities are sort of all over the place. But I'm starting to like the idea of that kind of pyramid theme below my character's feet, way away from, anything that might obstruct the screen. And yeah, I'm getting quite happy with how it's set up. I will say though that the command panel is going to become second nature to me after a very short amount of time. Some of the other features then that you can do with this, you can obviously have it so it closes the panel upon executing action. So naturally closes, which is especially useful for swapping jobs and things, but maybe less useful if we're, you know, doing a countdown and we need to reopen the thing again. But it's not that much of an issue to just press the button to reopen it, but I like to have that one turn off. I like to close the button myself with a keybind. Open panel at mouse cursor position does exactly what you would expect it to. No matter where your mouse is, it will open when you use your keybind, which is especially useful, especially if you want to do some runs and access your Phoenix down or whatever. The other thing that you'll notice that we've got open last panel used. So because we were on the tab with the Phoenix downs, that's the reason that one's opening. If we were on the mount tab, that's the one we'll open instead, which is pretty helpful. And then we've also got disable dragging, which of course means that you can't drag things off. And to fix that, you'd have to obviously untick that. But yeah, apart from a transparency, the only other options that are built into this are as follows. We have ourselves individual key bindings to different pages. So instead of just having your normal page opening, let's change that. Actually, I don't like the mouse cursor position for this demonstration. So instead of it doing that, you can have keybinds specifically for separate pages if you would rather, which is a nice feature to have, especially if you're the sort of person that wants quick access. You know what I mean? Like, instead of... Yeah. You can also scroll wheel if you're on mouse and keyboard. With a mouse, you can scroll through them rather than pressing on the individual tabs. But you can also quick bind them as well. Which of course does mean taking up more real estate on an action bar, but if you've got more action bars free now, you can just switch between them with, you know, shift and a number. So I think this is a positive change. Things I would like to see added, obviously I would like to see more of them. 25 per 4. Once you start putting things on here, you start to realize how much junk you use, but also at the same time how much of it you actually do want to keep. Yes, there are gaps here, but, you know, I wanted a crafting and gathering panel. I wanted a combat one. Like the combat one, once we have more than 21 jobs in the next expansion, presumably we're going to get Beastmaster, right? In 7.5, then maybe the next expansion gives us 2 jobs. That will make this panel full, which means I'll probably have to move things back. So as much as it is a bit of a meme to be like, you've only just got this Meoni, why are you asking for more stuff? It is kind of important that we see more panels added to this in the future. This is going to be very useful. If they don't add more panels, then I will have to mess things around. Obviously, I can get rid of these mounts and sort of consolidate some things, but once they add more jobs to the game, the bloat is going to be very real. And I'll need more columns. And yeah, it's just a process of me always asking for more, isn't it, when I shouldn't. But that's the reality of your situation. I really like the feature. I think it's got some great first steps. And I have long awaited the ability to no longer have to make my own macros to hide action bars. It effectively does the same thing, but better, in my opinion. Anyway, let me know what you're planning to put on your command panel. And if, like me, you've set it up with your gear sets, maybe you've put some crafting macros on there, give me some cool ideas for things to do. And yeah, hopefully we see some cleaner UIs out there. Much love, more videos on the way from patch 7.4, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.